stuff to talk about. We would like to have this be a very interactive session, so we're going to definitely welcome questions, definitely looking for your feedback. So thanks for joining us. So by way of introduction, I'm Cady Jackson. I'm one of the senior account executives at Western Computer. Been in the Dynamics channel for a long time. Been with Western for over 6 years, focusing on the ERP stack of D365. And I'm here with my colleague, Ryan.
Hi, everybody. Ryan Pollyniak, Cady's partner in crime. Been working with Western Computer for about 10 years now, and with ERP, connected digital transformation for organizations across ERP, CRM, e-commerce for almost 20 years now. So quite a bit of experience between the two of us. And we're here as new Znode partners, but we're not here with no knowledge of the overall picture for a company who's looking to transform digitally and to connect all their data points. Znode's got a great platform. They've got a lot of integrations, but it really goes far beyond that, and that's what Cady and I are going to cover today in 25 minutes. And we want to know, coming into this, who's in the room and what are you guys using? And I would love to hear, show of hands even, who's a Znode user in this room, an end user? Okay, partners? Anybody here looking at Znode and evaluating it as potentially something that's going to transform their business for them? Okay, so some people didn't raise their hands at all, and that's fine, I'm sure. Is there anyone that works for Znode? I know we've got some. Okay, there we go, we're filling the gaps now. So if, what ERP systems do we have in place? Does anybody want to volunteer and talk about what they've got Znode connected to? I heard Epicor earlier today from the presentation, which was phenomenal, from the company that talked about migrating to Znode, and their name escapes me. Was it Aetna? Aetna. So we've got Epicor. We're a Dynamics shop in particular. Does anybody else have an ERP system that they've integrated to? NetSuite. To NetSuite? Okay, yeah, that's a common one out there. Acumatica, kind of the usual suspects. Any others? What about business intelligence and reporting? Are you guys using Power BI? So I see our NetSuite folks have got Power BI. And what ERP system are you all on in the back here? Old AS400. Okay. So integration with e-commerce is something that we've seen be a complete science project on one end of the spectrum, API integrations and custom integrations, and on the other end of the spectrum you've got existing integrations like Znode has with several ERPs, including Microsoft Dynamics. And that's really why we're here. We're not like any of the other companies that are here who are Znode SIs focused specifically on e-commerce. We really handle the entire stack of applications, from CRM to ERP to e-commerce, and then through to reporting and business intelligence from there. How about Microsoft 365? One more show of hands, just to keep everybody engaged here. Now that's pretty common. 95% of the people that we talk to are using Office 365, including soon to be Znode, Google Shop now, but moving that way. So all of these pieces are connected, and this slide really says the story of why we're here and why this is so important. And we commonly will see some of these decisions made in silos inside of an organization. So we'll hear that, we're looking for an ERP system. We put in a CRM last year, and marketing found a marketing platform that they liked, and the sales team, they've got an e-commerce that they like. Those decisions really need to be made holistically as an organization from the C-level, as opposed to on a departmental basis. If you want everything to talk together, and you want everything to be integrated in a cohesive manner without cobbling integrations together, which is more important than ever in today's day and age. We had a great couple sessions on AI. You've got to have your data aggregated. You've got to have it in one place where your reporting can have access to all of your data, and your AI, your machine learning can have access to all of your data. If things are siloed in various databases, or even worse yet in Excel, if they're on paper, if they're in tribal knowledge, AI can't help with any of that, guys. And so Microsoft is really the leader there, and the point that we want to make today is really the Microsoft stack of applications for those of you on an older ERP, like the folks in the back. Is it going to be AS400 for life, or are you guys going to go out for a search at some point here for ERP? Is that on the map for you? I'm not prospecting here, by the way. I'm just curious. What's that, for life? Yeah, I've heard that one. It works. AS400s work, absolutely. So as you go approach something as massive as an ERP change in an organization, considering all of the periphery in the same vein is extremely important. And that's why we're partnering with Znode, so that we have an integrated e-commerce platform that can scale and that can do all the great things that you've been hearing about at all these sessions. But with the context of the larger digital footprint in mind across all of these various pieces of software applications and Copilot. We've heard Copilot a few times today. Copilot, for those of you who are not familiar with it, is Microsoft's go-to-market for AI. They've got hundreds of Copilots spread across all these applications that you see. You might see Copilot for Microsoft 365, or Copilot for Power BI, which I see a lot of you guys use. Copilot for Power BI, for instance, if you want to ask it a question about your data, could be what sales channel or what product am I selling through? What kind of clicks? I heard the term rage click for the first time today, which is a new term for me. But if you want to measure the percentage of that, you've got to be able to visualize the data, guys, right? So Copilot helps not only visualize your data, but you can actually ask it questions. You've got an agent there where you can ask it questions about your data. Which products are turning over? Which portions of my website are driving the best engagement? Visualizing all that data. Some of you may use others. You've got a whole host of them to choose from. But Microsoft's story is having everything available to talk together. They're the only ones that have the keys to the kingdom for each area here. For Office, for business analytics and Power BI, for ERP, and for connected e-commerce, which is a huge part of the equation. So this slide brings us to a really important point. Integrating e-commerce to ERP. We've heard all kinds of different use cases for it, but these are kind of the key areas, right? You've got to get your orders in. You've got to get your customers, and you've got to decide, where is the source of truth going to be? If I've got a new customer that comes out to my e-commerce site and decides to place an order, I've got to have that information flow through and populate in my ERP. Payments, of course, if you're going to take payments on the e-commerce site, you've got to have that flow through. And then there are more complex things that you've got to figure out, like credit hold, for instance, right? If you've got a multi-channel organization and your back office has them on credit hold in the AS400, are they able to go out to the website and make a purchase? Ideally, no. Ideally, that logic is going to be extended such that if you're taking a back order office or an e-commerce order, that you're going to have access to the same business logic. Credit holds, payments, payment terms, inventory, not just products, but inventory availability, ship dates, sales tax, all of the things that have got to go back and forth between the two applications. Does everybody have, I presume, on some level, their e-commerce integrated to their ERP? Are there any other areas that you see that are not listed here that you feel like are are critical for an integration or something that your organization uses? Pricing, yeah. Yeah, pricing can be complex, absolutely. Some industries have configuration requirements, where you need a CPQ embedded, and that can happen on the front end as well as in the back office. The story for us and why we're here and why we're partnered with Znode is because all of these areas are pre-built and they're integrated to Microsoft Dynamics 365. So it plugs very nicely into Microsoft's holistic, end-to-end connected story that we were showing a couple slides ago. So, why are we integrated with Znode? We don't want to rely on custom development, guys. We don't want to write an API to for every customer to pick your e-commerce of choice. Now, we've done it where those solutions are already ingrained, and we've got really no opportunity to go in for more of a greenfield approach. But going back to choosing these with not in a silo, but more in a holistic sense, makes a lot more sense. And choosing an e-commerce along with your ERP can really shorten your implementation length. It can certainly reduce ongoing maintenance for middlewares and for custom integrations. And it gets all of your data connected. So really having everything in one and talking to each other, and if you've got logic in the ERP system, it will extend to the e-commerce. So I've got a Power BI report here, and I've got this created. So Power BI, here, hold up. Oops, that's my shipping label, sorry. Forgot to close that window. I will need that though. So you guys have Power BI, and you're using it with NetSuite. I saw a few other hands. And so this is pulling data straight from Microsoft Dynamics. And this is a channel sales dashboard. So one thing with Microsoft Dynamics that enables this level of reporting is a concept called dimensions. And without getting too deep into that, essentially what it lets you do is split up your data by any parameter you'd like. Product, sales channel, region, sales rep, website, take your pick. And so the story there is that you've got your customers and they're coming through your e-commerce site or they're coming in through the back office, and you want to track, let's say, how are we doing for a particular product set or for a particular region or a particular sales rep. You don't want to have a GL that's a mile long to accommodate that, which I've seen, right? You've got a different GL account for each region or each product so that you can drive reporting on the back end. Dynamics allows you to simplify that dramatically and assign these dimensions. So you might have one GL account, but the dimensions will allow you to then split out the numbers on the back end, because reporting, guys, is the last mile. Everybody wants a report like this that will show you what items are selling, where are they selling, etc. But having that available, it goes beyond creating a dashboard. You have to foundationally have the ERP and the e-commerce in harmony, and you've got to have them speaking the same language, such that when I send an order through Dynamics, all of these dimensions are tagged, and then I can give my CRO my report that he or she wants and deliver the data in a nice dashboard. So let me actually go through this just a little bit more. So this is a live Power BI report. For those of you who don't have this, Power BI is a no-code report platform from Microsoft. It allows you to build these dashboards with a drag and drop interface. You don't have to have a developer. Really, anybody who's got report writing experience, if you've ever written like a Crystal report or something like that, you can learn Power BI pretty easily. And so all of these numbers, as I go through, you can see all the numbers updating You've got demo data behind this, so it's not all going to update. And we've got our little circle here, so it's taking a minute to figure it out. But essentially what this does is it gives you the key information for one of your business users that you need, and you can take this and you can dock it right inside of your Microsoft Dynamics ERP, so that if I'm the sales manager or if I'm a marketing manager and I want to track my e-commerce sales as they come through the site and have that dashboard available for me, I'm not bouncing between applications. I've got that connected story inside the Microsoft ecosystem. And likewise, if I wanted to take a report like this or a page out of my ERP and I wanted to share it out to Microsoft Teams, because we're a big Teams organization and we've got all of our departments segregated into their various teams. You wanted to share something like this, Microsoft makes that very, very easy, where you can take a page out of your ERP and you can share it with your organization. You can take a Power BI report and you can view it inside of Teams. So it starts with collecting the data appropriately and tagging it with things like a dimension in an ERP, and then visualizing it in a report and then allowing everybody to consume it throughout your organization. So Microsoft takes it from that cradle to grave with a connected system like Znode and provides that every step of the way. Any questions so far? Power BI, Dynamics, the Microsoft ecosystem? Nope. Yep, here, I'll go back.
Okay.
Perfect. Talked a lot about AI today, guys. It is a buzzword. It is something that means a lot of different things to different people. And the reality is, you heard John, who I thought, John in the panel gave a great presentation on AI. But even a guy like John doesn't know where AI is going, right? None of us do yet. We know a couple things. We know that you've got to keep you've got to aggregate your data. And this one might make your head hurt a little, so don't try to read all the fine print too much. I'll tell you what it all means in a second. But you've got to aggregate your data in order to make sense of AI, and then you've got to have your applications AI enabled, right? And so this is what Microsoft brings to the table. In all of their various applications, I've spoken to a few dynamic savvy people here who understand what these apps are. You've got really CRM, and you've got 2 ERPs here. And Microsoft has built AI across all of these platforms and embedded that Copilot that you hear, the buzzword Copilot, which is Microsoft's AI, into Business Central, which is a small, medium-sized business ERP, into supply chain management, which is more of an enterprise level operational software, and Dynamics 365 Finance. And they're doing things that are really interesting. We've talked about saving time, and that's kind of the theme that I constantly hear with AI. It saved me time, it saved me time, it saved me time, it made me more efficient. But it also can enable better business decisions. And this is not something that boils down to efficiency as much as it is just having access to the appropriate data. So what I mean by that, let's take Dynamics 365 Finance, for example. Dynamics 365 Finance, when it looks at your cash flow forecast, it's not doing it by the old way of you've got 30 and 60 and 90-day aging buckets, and you're hoping that all of your customers pay these invoices within those buckets and essentially crossing your fingers, right? Dynamics 365 Finance uses an embedded Copilot for Finance application, or agent, I should say, that looks at your actual payments from your actual customers over time. And it says, well, these guys pay 17 days late on average, and these pay, 40 days late, and this guy pays 6 days early. And there are trends there that can be analyzed by the AI, and then it can tell you your actual cash flow forecast for your business based on your customers and their history. It's not so much an efficiency gain as it is a real business insight. And so leveraging a connected e-commerce like this with all of those data points can bring, go ahead, you have a question?
Are companies actually doing that today?
Absolutely. The cash flow one that I just gave you, the cash flow example, companies are definitely doing that. Companies are definitely using the intelligent chatbots in Dynamics 365 customer service. They're using some of the demand planning pieces of it on the supply chain side of it. So yes, and that's a great question, because you hear this stuff with AI and you think, what are the concrete use cases and what is reality? Are organizations really doing this? And yeah, they absolutely are. Now, what's coming next? That's a bit more murky. Nobody knows. What we do know is that Microsoft, each release that you see, you've got. I think they said they were upgrading to Znode 10 earlier, and that was kind of a once a year thing, even though there are multiple updates. That's SaaS software now, guys. I mean, updates will happen periodically, automatically, and they will add new features in constantly. Microsoft is doing that with Copilot. Every release note that we see in all of these various applications, it's really their focus. And so, while we don't all know what AI will do in 2, 3, 5 years, we do know that Microsoft is going to be at the head of the table. They're one of the leading technology companies in the world. They own Office, they own the Power Platform, they are leveraged with OpenAI. They've got a tremendous foundation from which to develop all of these things and bake them into their business applications. And they literally give it away, the Copilot. It's included in all their base business applications. So, you've got to have that connected experience to aggregate your data and then make some sense of it. All right, where did I put my clicker? How are we doing on time?
We have 5 minutes.
We got 5 minutes left. Okay. What did we put on this one? So Western Computer, where do we fit in? We're a Dynamics partner. I mean, obviously Microsoft develops this stuff. They put AI in everything, they connect everything. It's a great story to tell. We are an implementation and support partner. So we work with companies all the time who are evaluating change. We need a new ERP. We're looking at CRM. We're looking at e-commerce. We're looking at a holistic digital transformation. And we do assessments. Copilot is one of them that we'll do that for, because it is difficult as an organization to say, here are all the use cases we have for AI, now go do it. You guys are busy running your business, right? I saw a cartoon that was great not too long ago, and it said, there's a guy in his boss's office, and his boss is like, we need AI yesterday. The guy said, what do we need it for? He said, I have no idea, but we need it like right now. And that's kind of where everybody is, right? So we'll do these assessments, and we'll help evaluate the tech stuff. Where's your data? How accessible is it? How aggregated is it? Does it make sense? Do you trust it? And then the business use cases. Where can you gain some efficiencies here? Is it Microsoft 365? Is it Dynamics 365? Wherever it might be. And then we'll present some plans. Now, of course, we go and we implement companies on ERP, e-commerce connected systems, and this is just another part of it. Yes, sir.
If you go back a slide or so, you have this slide here. Most of the green AI applications are order-centric, order data-centric. Are you seeing any progress with Microsoft in terms of using Google Analytics type data, your customer activity data, just non-order data that's overlapped somewhat, or is that just not a focus area?
Are you adding on to? Because I saw your hand up as well.
Just because this is all Microsoft systems.
Right.
We're one of them. But we run into companies that are running 8 different platforms.
Sure.
They don't have a single tech stack. So to add on to what John just said, it's how does Copilot run across multiple tech stacks? Or how do you organize around that?
Sure. So if you've got systems that are disconnected, you can leverage something like Microsoft Fabric, which is something that we've done a lot of, which is a unified data warehouse. But I don't think that's exactly the question that you're asking. You're asking more non-order specific, non-company specific data that's out there in the marketplace for consumption, right?
Yeah, and I mean, to Tom's point, that is a non-Microsoft product, so I think that the question is valid across
Okay.
other products too. But
Sure.
specifically with, just the non-order management type data, do you see that as part of their roadmap, or are they integrating it at all or in parts?
So give me an example of the type of data that you're talking about here.
I mean, any generic Google Analytics data.
Okay, like Zoom info or something.
Amount of
Right.
Google Analytics attributes and content that you could pipe into there.
Yeah, there are APIs for that, absolutely. So pre-built APIs, I'd have to go and look at exactly which ones are available, but I know you can do, there are several of them that you can either use to create a Copilot, inform a Copilot agent, or you can actually aggregate your data in a cloud-based AI-enabled data warehouse. And we're seeing this when companies migrate from an older ERP system. They'll take it and it's not connected data, right? It's old on-prem. You take that, you put it in Fabric, and then you create a unified data model. Now, I still don't think that's addressing the question you have, and I don't know like specific examples, but I do know that there are a tremendous number of APIs for third-party data sources available for Dynamics. So maybe we'll have to get more specific on that one. And this is not this is not exhaustive, guys, right? There are literally hundreds of use cases for Copilot in Microsoft Dynamics. These are just a few examples.
That's what, like Copilot Studio, guys, is what anyone can go out and look at. And Microsoft wants to encourage you to create your own Copilot for just that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Go out and look at other potential data sets, as long as it was in Fabric or something like that. But definitely look into Copilot Studio.
And Microsoft, by the way, and this is important, if you're using Copilot and it's learning over time and it's helping your business get better and better, things like sales trend analysis or payment automation or I should say invoicing automation, anything like that, it will keep your data private. As in, it's not going to leverage your data to go inform your competitors in terms of an AI algorithm requiring data to actually provide value, right? It will keep that just to you. Now, that means you have a little bit of a ramp-up time when you start using the software for it to start making sense, but it's also very transparent in terms of what they're doing with your data, and that is not available to other companies. Anyone been through an ERP transition recently? Yeah? You've been through one? Did you see it? Yeah? I don't want to call you out here, but how was it fun? No, never. Yeah, I've been doing it 20 years, and sometimes I think I'm a masochist for that reason, but it's complex, but it's extremely important, right? So I loved what they were saying earlier about starting with goals for AI. What do you actually want to do with it? Yeah, we can the example was, okay, yeah, we're AI enabled. We licensed everybody with Copilot. Well, what is the end goal here? What are you guys trying to do? So redefining goals and avoiding over customization that is multifaceted, guys. I would add to that, don't go try to recreate your old ERP system, because what you're going to do then is you're going to customize a new one to match your old one, and you're going to spend a bunch of money, and you're going to be totally down the wrong road. Don't treat ERP and e-commerce as separate projects, but this extends far beyond that. Is it time? Okay. We have 2 minutes. Just 1 second. Because this is the last slide. CRM, marketing, your communication stack, whether that's Microsoft 365 or Google, e-commerce, everything goes together, guys, and you have to make those decisions together. I've seen organizations get themselves into a lot of trouble with autonomy in each department. Go find a tool, whatever you like, and go pick it, and now you go pick yours, you go pick yours. You're going to run into a spider web of applications at that point. And of course, picking partners with experience goes without saying. We are distribution and manufacturing experts at Western Computer. That's all we do. We've been implementing Dynamics for over 20 years. We've been in business for almost 40 now. We used to sell printers and green bar paper out of a warehouse in Southern California, hence the name Western Computer. But we're not based in the West anymore, and we don't sell hardware anymore. So the name's a bit dated, but we've got a really good reputation, so we've kept it over the years. And we've done countless projects for customers with integrated e-commerce, full transition of ERP, e-commerce, CRM, reporting, you name it. So we're glad to have a chat with anybody. We've got a table out here with some lavender seeds that need to be planted. And we're glad to have a chat with you about any questions you have about transforming. So any questions? I think we're out of time.